Svadhamna Anyam Shahasta Charana Shravana Tvagadim Pranannamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Svasyastu Vishwasya Kalah Prasidatam Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodiyat Manascha Badram Vajata Tadokshaje Aveshyatam No Matir Adhyahaytuki Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayastadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavada Vargenaya Kalpitam Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumarta Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatra Dharona Paraha. So does it work? Not readable. Just Achintaji, how to export from here into PPT? Yeah, to export it. Export PDF. Okay.
We are trying to get the connector to the Mac.
What did you do?
Я пытался попасть в эту кнопку. Вот так сделал просто. Куда?
Экспорт.
Не, куда? Сюда, все правильно?
Да.
Ну, все тогда. Передать ему.
Yes. Just 1 second. What should do? We should go here. We should go here, right? PDF file will come now. The same. It will take some time. Okay. I'll start in the meantime. So we're studying Madhuri Kadambini, beautiful book written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, to explain to us the intricacies of the path of bhakti and the dynamic on this path. It's a very practical book because it teaches us practical hints of how to apply the methodology of bhakti in our life. So we'll first chant pranam mantra to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This pranam mantra was written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada himself. Vishwasyanatha rupaso Bhaktivartma pradarshanat Bhakti chakre varti tattvat Chakravart akyaye bhave. So in this pranam mantra, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is explaining the title of Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. His initiated name was different, Hari Vallabha. But he is widely known as Vishwanatha Chakravarti. Chakravarti means emperor. And he is Vishwanatha Chakravarti, the emperor of the whole world. He is the Vishwanatha, the Lord of Vishwa, of this universe. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains the meaning of this title, and he says, Vishwasya Natha Rupa So. Should I click here? Yes. Vishwasya Natha Rupa So. Okay. Because he is okay, yes. Because he is the protector of Bhakti Vartma, because he is showing Bhakti Vartma, the path of Bhakti, Bhakti Vartma Pradarsanat. Therefore, he is Vishwasya Natha. He is the Lord of the whole world, because the whole world is created for the sole purpose of showing or of finding the path of Bhakti. And Bhakti Chakri Vartitatvat, and because he is sitting among bhaktas in the association of the bhaktas, Bhakti Chakri. So he is known as Chakravarti. He is Vishwanatha because he is showing the path of Bhakti, and because he is always surrounded by bhaktas, he is called Chakravarti. That's his Mangalacharana. And then let's chant this very important verse, Mangalacharana, to the whole book. Hridva prenava bhakti shasya vitate sanjivani svagama rambe kamata partudahadamani vishwapagolasini duran me marushakinopi sarasi bhavaya bhuya prabhu Shri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankushamaha Madhurya Kadambini Shri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankushamaha Madhurya Kadambini. So this is a very beautiful and very important, poetical and at the same time philosophical verse, which has a lot of meaning. The metaphor which is given here, Sri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankusha Mahamadhurya Kadambini. So this unrestricted Nirankusha, totally unrestricted, totally self-willed mercy, Kripa Nirankusha, of Sri Chaitanya is compared here with Madhurya Kadambini, with the cloud bank of mercy, cloud bank of Madhurya. So the meaning here, Mahamadhurya Kadambini. So the mercy of Lord Chaitanya is totally unrestricted. Nobody can restrict, as much as nobody can restrict monsoon clouds from pouring down the rain. Nobody can restrict the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Nobody can say you can give mercy to all the Bharatiyas but not to the foreigners. Nobody can say that you can give mercy to Brahmanas and not to Shudras. It's Nirankusha. It doesn't know any restrictions or any limitations. And it's in the form of Madhurya Kadambini, the clouds of Madhurya, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only one who described supreme truths, Param Brahma, Param Tattva, Brahman, as concentrated form of Madhurya. There were many Vaishnavas before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who were describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his personal aspect, in different features, in different beautiful qualities which Krishna has, but nobody made such an important stress that ultimately Lord is sweetness personified. Madhurya Bhagavata Sar, that's the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The essence of God is Madhurya. Not his Aishwarya, not his ruling power, not his ability to restrict sinful people and reward the saintly people. Nothing else, only Madhurya. In essence, in the very essence of his personality, he is sweet. He is amazingly sweet. And this reign of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is revealing this essence of God, hidden before, it's there in the Vedas. In Rig Veda, I believe, there is a beautiful hymn which explains the Madhuri. It is said, Madhu, 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 Madhu. We worship this Madhu. Everything is Madhu. The cows are Madhu and the rivers are overflowing with Madhu. Everything is honey, honey, honey. So it's there. In every scripture there is this understanding that ultimately the essence of the Lord is sweet. But the whole world was waiting for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and to say that everything else is non-essential. The only essential point is that he is sweet. Because in any other tradition, spiritual tradition, the sweetness is there, but it's hidden. It's basically overshadowed by all other descriptions of God, of his majesty, of his power, of his whatever it is. So this unrestricted mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pouring down as the rain, and this rain has basically three effects. Three very important effects according to the intensity of the rain. Sometimes we know, the rain starts very slowly, then it becomes really intense, then it again becomes little slow, monsoon rain. So the monsoon rain, it's monsoon rain, but it can be of different intensity. And in the beginning, when this rain of mercy of Lord Chaitanya is like, little shower, it's just showering somewhat. It is said, Hridva prenava bhakti shasya vitate sanjivani svagama arambhe. From the very beginning, svagama arambhe, it gives life, sanjivani, to the crops which are growing in the field of our heart. Hridva pre. It's a very important metaphor when the heart is compared with field. Because what is our heart? Heart is the place where we collect all kinds of impressions of this world. And these impressions, samskaras, which we collect constantly, by looking here and there, by hearing something. We always want to get the seeds of new samskaras, of new impressions within our heart. And then sooner or later, some of these seeds, they don't give any crop, but some of these seeds, which we are very eager to sow in the soil of our heart, they will give a lot of crop. We see some, like, for example, Jamila's life. He saw this, he had this very powerful, emotionally disturbing image of Shudra embracing a prostitute. And this one seed completely changed the course of his life. It gave so much crop, so much result that the whole life was completely changed. So, but he says, Nava Bhakti Shasya Vitatech Sanjeevani. Ridva Preya, when this rain of Lord Chaitanya mercy is coming and it touches the soil of our heart, then it gives Nava Bhakti Shasya Vitatech, the new crop of Nava Bhakti. Nava Bhakti means ninefold Bhakti. The new impressions or the new emotions which are caused by Navavida Bhakti starts growing on the soil of our heart. So, and Nava means two meanings. Nava means new and Nava means 9. So Nava Bhakti Shasya means ninefold Bhakti, and Nava Bhakti Shasya, Shasya means the good seeds, the, how you call this, the, anyway, the, like rice or, rice or gehu. So Nava Bhakti Shasya, it's extremely interesting and deep analogy because usually you can practice bhakti when you already have some bhakti samskaras. In a normal case scenario, you can only practice bhakti in an intense way if you previously were engaged in some sort of bhakti, or it may be agyata sukriti bhakti, whatever. So it's very difficult to start bhakti from the scratch. But Lord Chaitanya, he doesn't care. Whether it's difficult or not, he's not only pouring the rain, he's also pouring the seeds of bhakti. So it's basically, that's the meaning of Nava as new. You're completely new to bhakti. Like approximately half of this audience are people who are completely new to bhakti. They are from this Western hemisphere and they don't know anything about bhakti, Navavida bhakti. But Lord Chaitanya mercy is so unrestricted, he's not only pouring the rain, but also the seeds at the same time. So the seeds are falling down on the field of our heart, and they give a lot of crop ultimately. And basically it means, this is something which we can relate. From the very beginning, he is not without a reason stresses this point. Sva agama arambi. Sva agama arambi. From the very beginning, you already get very fresh and enjoyable samskaras of bhakti. No matter who you are, you feel very much refreshed because you get the new impressions. Everything is new. Maybe for those people who were born in Bharat, many of the things are not new, but still Lord Chaitanya movement has this amazing ability to impress people. People hear kirtan and they're immediately impressed. Even Gopinath Acharya was totally impressed when he saw Sankirtan of Lord Chaitanya, and he said, "What is this? What the heck it is?" No, it was not. Sorry, it was Prataparudra Maharaj. Prataparudra Maharaj is looking at this procession of people who are just, swaying and singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he is asking Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, what is going on? I've never seen this. I've never seen this beautiful scene. So beautifully people are worshipping God. He has seen so many different forms of upasana, of Lord Jagannath's worship, but he has never seen this. And therefore he says, Hridva prena bhakti shasya vitatek sanjivani swagamarambi. From the very beginning, we get new impressions which change the course of our life. So many people told me in Russia, one lady, she was especially graphic about this. She said, I was sitting in my apartment on the 10th floor of an apartment building. And somewhere down there was Harinam party. And I heard the sound of Harinam. And all of a sudden, without any understanding what am I doing, I ran down the stairs. In the meantime, the Sankirtan party was already far away, and I started running behind this, and I was totally mesmerized by this sound. And ultimately, I came with them to the temple, I ate prasadam, and I started chanting 16 rounds every day. This is how it happens. This is exactly what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining here. Hridva prena bhakti shasya vitatek sanjivani swagama arambe. So that's what happened in the beginning. You get a completely new experience. And this new experience which you get of this practicing of bhakti, of kirtan, or of shravanam, or whatever it is, changes the course of your life, and ultimately gives a very good crop, the good result from the field of your heart. And then he says, when the rain becomes more intense, in the beginning it only gives some new positive impressions. But when the rain, and we know sometimes the monsoon rain starts slowly, but then it becomes really intense. So he says, Kama tapar tudaha damani. It starts controlling damani, and ultimately completely extinguishing kama tapar tudaha. The fire, daha, which is burning within our heart of different desires. And it's top, it's very hot. The desires which we have, the passions which we have within our heart, they're very hot. Therefore, hell is a very hot place. Hell is the place where we naturally get because of so many desires. And that's the heat of the desires. In every tradition it is explained that this is the hot place is the hell, and in Vedic tradition it is said that the hell is somewhere in the south direction, so it's somewhere towards this hot place. And but basically that's the heat of the desires. So the next result, and sometimes we can see that this is a big forest fire or whatever, some heat, but the next result, if the rain is very strong, then this fire, which is also very strong, subsides, gradually subsides until it completely extinguishes. So that's the next result, which we can also relate to. The first result, we see something, we get new impressions, we get very new kind of experience by coming in contact with Lord Chaitanya, and understanding that God, whom I am supposed to fear, should not be feared of. He should be, instead of being feared, he should be tasted. It's a completely different relationship with God. He is the object of taste, raso vai saha. And but the next result is that I can feel that the fire which is burning quite strongly within my heart becomes less and less and less. It may not be completely extinguished because the rain of Lord Chaitanya mercy is not really pouring down. So, or sometimes we may put some little covering over the nice fire of our desires, so that the rain of Lord Chaitanya's mercy would not extinguish it completely. Sometimes we are very protective of it. Let it burn there, no problem. But we also can feel that it goes down. It definitely goes down. And this is exactly, and therefore he says, Dhamani, this Madhurya Kadambini, the reign of Lord Chaitanya, sweetness, sweet conceptions, controls to a certain extent this fire which is burning within our heart. And then he says, Vishva Apaga Ulasini. Vishva Apaga Ulasini, this is the third extent of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We know when the rain is pouring, then it can extinguish all the fire which is there in the jungles, but it can also do, when the rain is really heavy, then all the rivers become overflowing. Sometimes there is a flood, like a few years back there was this huge flood in Himalayas when Ganga completely raised up 9 meters high. Huge. So that's what he says. Vishwa, all the rivers of this world, apaga, the fastly running rivers of this world, ulasini, they become overflowed with nectar. And it basically means that's the third stage of spiritual development, when we are completely washed away, our little tiny soul washed away by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And the rivers are flowing towards what? Towards the ocean. And irresistibly, if the current of the river is so strong because of this flood, then we will be washed away to the ocean of the spiritual world. We don't have to do anything. The mercy is so strong, it will just take us, and even if we resist, the mercy will say, no problem. Just shut up. I'm taking you to the place where you need. Like there is this beautiful story about Srila Prabhupada. There was one hippie girl who came to, she was seeking for a guru to find God, and ultimately somebody told her, you just go, it was in San Francisco, you go to this temple, the Swamiji is there, maybe he's the one whom you're looking for. And she came, and Prabhupada was busy, and Prabhupada said, please wait, I have to do something. And Prabhupada was sitting with Gargamuni. And Gargamuni, his nickname in ISKCON was Gargamani, because he was the first treasurer, and he's really good with money, and he even calls his memories of Srila Prabhupada Gargamani. So, and they're sitting, and Srila Prabhupada is checking his books, 2 cents for this, and $1 for this, and what is this, why is such a big expense? And she's sitting there, she's a seeker, she's a hippie, and here is the guru, and he is, just counting pences and dollars and speaking about this and asking why so much expense, what they're doing. And ultimately she's becoming angry and angry and angry and more angry inside. And ultimately she just got up, raised her hands and started shouting, "I came here to find love." Prabhupada looks at her very calmly and said, "Sit down, you came to a proper place." Don't worry. Okay. Just sit here quietly. So basically, just sit down, don't worry. You will be taken to the proper place by Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Whatever is there, but the Lord Chaitanya's mercy is so powerful, and that's the point, that when it really starts pouring, it takes you more or less automatically to the final destination of the spiritual world. And then he says, "Duran me marushakino pisarasi bhavaya bhuyat prabhu si chaitanya kripani rankusha." So, but he said, what I am? I am a lonely, dry tree, which is growing in the desert. And I'm very far away from this downpour of mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Duran me marushakino api. I'm this dry tree which is growing in the desert and very far away from this. Still, give me just a few drops of your mercy so that I would become again alive, so that the life would come back to me. So he expresses the natural humility which we all should have to achieve the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. This mercy of Lord Chaitanya is there, it's totally nirankusha, but we need to be humble to achieve this mercy. And in this very verse, he explains the stages of bhakti. The 3 major stages of bhakti. So, and then the second verse, second Mangala Charana of this. Bhakti purva shritatam tu rasam pashyet yadattadih tam nomi satatam rupa nama priya janam hare. So it's also very interesting. After explaining the title of this book, Madhurya Kadambini, and explaining the effects of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, he says, he prays to Srila Rupa Goswami, who actually revealed this conception of Lord Chaitanya. He says, Bhakti Purvai Srita Tam Tu. There were many people before who were taking shelter of the devotional service. Many people who were practicing devotional service. We should not be fanatics. We shouldn't say that nobody is practicing devotional service, only I am trying to do this, everyone else is useless. It says, Bhakti Purvai Sritatam Tu, even though thumb too. There were many people who were practicing bhakti. Rasam pasye dyatatta div, tam nomi satatam rupa, nama priya janam hare. It says, even though there were many people who were practicing this, the one who gave us the intelligence to see bhakti as rasa was Srila Rupa Goswami. Yadatta Dih. He gave this intelligence which helps us to see bhakti not as a ritual. Like in Sri Sampradaya, they have this difference between bhakti, upasana, and sharanagati. And what we call bhakti, they call sharanagati. But still, the understanding of bhakti, the prevalent understanding of bhakti before that, or if you take even Madhva Sampradaya, how they approach to bhakti. What is bhakti? Bhakti is a ritual. It's a ritual of worship. It's a certain relationship, is a certain procedure by which we enter into relationship with God. Certain methodology, certain tantra by which we can enter into relationship with God. But what Srila Rupa Goswami did, he just explained, he gave us the intelligence which helps us to see bhakti as rasa. Bhakti is not ritual, bhakti is rasa, bhakti is taste from the very beginning. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. In other words, bhakti from the very beginning has the emotional component. It's not just a ritualistic procedure, more or less mechanical procedure, but it's from beginning to end. It's rasa in a very high stage, but even in the very beginning we feel little shadow of rasa. And therefore, tam nomi satatam rupa nama priya janam harihe. I'm always paying obeisances again and again and again to Srila Rupa Goswami, who is very dear to the Lord. Rupa nama Hare Priya. He is Hare Priya. He is the person who is very dear to Lord Hari or to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the very important thing. In other words, what he wants to say by this Mangala Charana, by indicating paying obeisances and indicating the subject matter of this book, I will explain to you how bhakti develops within the heart by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, if somebody is following the path of Lord Chaitanya. How the gradual development of bhakti takes place in our heart, and how ultimately it brings us to the final destination of rasa experience. How from the very beginning this downpour of sweetness of the Lord gives us new experience. And that's another very important point to understand about Lord Chaitanya's path. It's all based on our experience. We should not be satisfied with just some kind of theoretical knowledge. It's the path of practical realization of all these truths which we are entitled to understand very in our own experience. So, I was supposed to very briefly explain what I explained in Goa, but I was carried away by the river of mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, after 1 hour, we're still trying to understand Mangala Charana. But in any case, let's go a little further, whatever our madness will allow us to, to proceed to. And so this whole book is the explanation of two verses from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Let's chant them together. Ado Shraddha Tatah Sadhu Sangotha Bhajana Kriya Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistataha Asaktis Tato Bhavastataha Prema Bhuyad Danchati Sadakanamayam Premna Pradurbhave Bhavet Kramaha. So in these verses, Srila Rupa Goswami is very clear what he's explaining. He says, Sadakanam ayam premnah pradurbhave bhavet kramaha. How gradually kramaha, the prema is manifesting within the heart of sadhakas. So from these seminal verses, there is already paradox which is pointed out by Rupa Goswami. Because sadhana usually is a systematic practice to produce something. Sadhya literally means something which is being produced by sadhana. Like, for example, if we're cooking something, if we're cooking samosas, there is certain sadhana, and then samosas will become the sadhya, the result of this sadhana. We don't say that, we're doing some samosa sadhana and then samosas manifest themselves. No, they're logical result of a particular procedure. But in case of bhakti, it's not like this. In case of bhakti, bhakti pradurbhava. Pradurbhava means it will just manifest. Prema will just manifest at one point. But still, for prema to manifest, we should do sadhana, but we should not mistake this sadhana as the cause of prema. So that's very important and paradoxical in one sense, but we will explain it a little later. So that's, and he says, this is the gradual stages of manifestation of prema. Another very important point here is that even Shraddha is a manifestation of prema. It's a very tiny atomic fraction of prema, but still it's prema. Like in the seed, in a very compressed form, there is all the genes which are necessary to manifest the whole tree. In the same way, if Shraddha is proper, then prema is already there. It's a little tiny fraction. You may not feel so much taste when you have Shraddha, even though even seed is quite tasty. But it's very small. But that's another very important point here. And I will tell a little bit about this point, how prema manifests, why we should not call it sadhya. This is the definition of Rupa Goswami sadhana from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Let's chant it together. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasya sadhana didha nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam kriti sadhyata. So again, he more explicitly, Srila Rupa Goswami more explicitly explains this in this verse where he says that yes, we do some sadhana, and the definition of sadhana is that we are doing it by our senses, kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava. And if we have this sadhya bhava, if we understand that ultimately it should bring us to the level of bhava, and we are performing this sadhana with very clear intention of achieving the stage of bhava, then it is called sadhana. And only then. If the goal of our endeavors is not established, then ultimately it will become a mechanical ritual. So Kriti Sadhya, because we're doing it with the senses, with the hands, with the ears, with the tongue, if it does not enlivened by the connection with the ultimate goal, it will become mechanical. I've been, I don't know about you, but I've been in many lectures where you just want to come to the lecturer and try to wake him up because he's just mechanically repeating something because it is our ritual to say something. And to quote some verses, you just want to, come on, what are you doing? This is not a ritual, this is bhakti. This is something which we are supposed to do to achieve bhav. And from the very beginning, it has to be somewhat saturated with bhav, or at least with eagerness to achieve this goal. Therefore, he says, Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sasadana bhida. This is the definition of bhava. Sadhana abhida, sorry, not bhava, but sadhana. The dictionary definition, sadhana abhida. But immediately after that, he said, Nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam kriti sadhyata. So, this Nitya siddhasya, the eternally existing bhava, because of this, not because of this sadhana, but in connection with this sadhana, it prakatyam, it manifests in the heart. And it's a very important point to understand from the beginning, because everything which is created, if something is the product of creation, is created by some process, by some sadhana, what will happen with something which is created? It will be destroyed. It will be inevitably destroyed. It is destined to be destroyed. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur janman mritasya cha. Whatever appears at one point, it will be disappearing in another point after some time. So if prema is like this, what is the use of achieving prema? Okay, I'll work hard, I achieve prema, and then, at one point it will be destroyed. So what's the point? I can, in the same way, strive to achieve some material happiness, and again it will be destroyed. So, no, prema is not like this, it's nitya siddha. It's eternally existing, and therefore it cannot be created. It cannot be the result of sadhana. So then what are we doing? If it's not the result of sadhana, so what are we doing here? So if it's supposed to be given, then we should just wait when it will be given, and in the meantime we just have fun by going to cinema, and anyway, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Kripa Nirankusha, so it doesn't have any restricting power. So what is this? But no, it's very important. And of course, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, while translating this verse into simple Bengali, he says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema is Nitya Siddha, eternally existing. Sadhya Kabunai, it's never sadhya. It's never something created or concocted. Shravanadi Shuddhi Chitta Karayevudoi. So even though these two words, sadhana and sadhya, they are coming from the verbal root sad. Sad samsidho. Basically, samsidho means to finish, to accomplish, to perfect, to achieve the goal. And therefore, sadhana is the means to achieve sadhya, the goal. But here is a very special, Krishna Prema is not sadhya, but bhakti is sadhana. So it basically means, and the example is can be given here. Yeah, the example is given here. If a child is drowning and he's crying, "Help me, help me." Can we say that his cries is the cause of his, and somebody saves him? Can we say that his helpless cries is the cause of his salvation? Yeah, if he only cries and nobody is there, he may cry whatever he likes. It's not really the cause, but still it's connected with the cause. Still, it's very important to cry. It's because our sadhana is crying sadhana, so, and it's very important to cry loudly too. But ultimately, the cause is different. The cause is the mercy of the Lord. That's the real cause. Only if somebody hears these cries and believes that this is a sincere cry, then he can come to rescue us. So and that's the point here, is that there is sadhana, but this sadhana is a special kind of sadhana, which does not necessarily give us the guaranteed result of sadhya, but still increases our chances to get the mercy of the Lord, and in this way to receive real bhakti. So that's what it is. And therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami, commenting on these two verses of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says that this is a particular gradual stage which generally happens. He says there are different ways for prema to appear in the heart. Because prema is totally, completely self-willing, it can appear in anyone's heart. It appeared in the heart of Putana. She was also crying quite loudly. When Krishna was playing with her. But she didn't go from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangat. She didn't undergo this cumbersome process. So the idea here is that, yeah, there are many different ways of prema to manifest with our heart, because ultimately it's a manifestation. So you cannot really say you can manifest in this way, but should not manifest in that way. But Srila Jiva Goswami explains that this is the stages which are described here by Srila Rupa Goswami, the general way of manifestation, gradual manifestation of prema. So that's a very important point which we have to understand from the very beginning. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, at the end of this book, I'm just afraid that if every year we will have this retreat on Madhuri Kadambini, and then by the 8th year, when we will supposed to discuss the 8th shower of mercy, nobody will be here because everyone will be already gone. So therefore I'm including some material from the last chapter into this presentation. So, this is how it works. So if we in the last chapter of this book, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains what is happening during this gradual process. He explains this, that ultimately the process which is taking place in our heart during bhakti sadhana is the process of gradual spiritualization of our ego. Now we have material ego, material concept of I and mind. Very firmly established concept. This is I, this is me, and this is mine, this belongs to me. We all have this rigid kind of understanding, and it's very sensitive. If somebody tries to question our understanding of us, which we want to project, it's usually very painful, and the reaction is very extreme. If somebody's, if you think that you are very intelligent, and somebody says and comes to you and says you're a fool, naturally you will have to say a few kind words to this person that he is wrong, that he's somewhat mistaken. So the idea here is that we do have our material ego, and material ego is pretty firm. It's established very firmly within our heart, and we are on guard. Our material ego is very vigilant. It's always guarding what is mine and what is me, what is I, against the onslaughts, against the attacks from outside. But the process of bhakti is gradually changing this material ego into spiritual ego. He says that there are three kinds of ego. There is material ego, which basically means the conception of I am what I am in terms of matter. I have this qualification and that qualification, I have this diploma and that diploma, and this achievement, that achievement. This is the material ego in terms of our material qualifications, material possessions, and everything else. And that's the cause of bondage. So when we try to dissolve our ego completely, I am not this, neti, or aham brahmasmi, I am just undefinable spirit. I have nothing to do with this matter, which is full of designations. I am the spirit without any designations, just vague spirit. Then this is pure spiritual ego, which is achieved by the process of jnana, and which Srila Prabhupada says is a spiritual suicide. And Baladev Vidyabhushan, he gives a very interesting argument explaining the futility of jnana. He says, usually we do something to achieve result, and the result which we want to achieve is eradication of suffering or the increase of our enjoyment. That's the two reasons why we're doing something. You agree with me? It's basically the two motivating factors which impels us to act. And he says, you do some jnana to practice of jnana to get rid of sufferings and to increase your enjoyment. But at the end, your ego is dissolved. And because your ego is dissolved, there is nobody to taste the result of your endeavors. Who is not suffering? Nobody. Who is achieving the spiritual happiness? Nobody is there. So he says it's a completely useless practice. It's the practice which has no sense whatsoever. So therefore, Baladev Vidyabhushan was the one of our acharyas who was always insisting that this ego remains, but it's a different kind of ego. And it's our individuality remains. It's undestroyable because it's our eternal nature. But when it is spiritualized, then in the process of bhakti, then the idea here, then you develop the idea as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains here. I belong to the Lord as His servant, and He, the personality of Godhead, the vast ocean of beauty, excellence, and sweetness, is the master. I must serve along with His associates. Then there is pure love. So that's the stages which are listed before, the gradual stages of manifestation of this ego when it becomes very firmly established within the heart. In the beginning, it's just very vague, shadowy conception. Yes, Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. Yes, I am Krishna Nitya Das. No problem. I already passed Bhakti Sarvabhavam exam. No. But it's not yet ego. It's just the initial stage of developing of spiritual ego. Because ego is the directing force. Ego is actually all-pervading, in a sense. It pervades all our actions, all our words, and all our thoughts. When this spiritual conception is very firmly established, then we cannot act differently. Like, people who have very strong material ego, they only can act in a certain way. They cannot act differently because their ego is so strong. Look at Mr. Trump. Can he act differently? No way. And somebody says he's very unpredictable, and others say, no, he's totally predictable because he has a very strong conception of who I am, and you can really predict how he is supposed to act. It's just a very vivid example, but actually it's true for everyone else. He is not an exception. He is just very vivid example of this. So when we have very strong conception, we act in a certain way, we think in a certain way, we speak in a certain way, and sometimes we pretend, but but ultimately it's a pretension. And in the same way, when we have very strongly, fully formed spiritual ego, then we will always act in a spiritual way. We will always serve. We will always speak in a certain way, not differently, and we will always think in a certain way. So that's the idea here, is that our way to establish us and to achieve goal is to firmly establish our spiritual ego. Yeah, and therefore, in the first shower, in the first chapter of Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the idea of the essence of the whole first chapter of Madhurya Kadambini is to impress upon us that even though there is a process of sadhana, but ultimately the desired result has to come by the mercy of the Lord. So the whole point of his first chapter, he says, the blissful Lord descends to human perception of the ear, eye, mind, and intellect, not by any material cause, but simply by his own independent will. Just as by his own will he appeared in the material world as Krishna in the Yadu dynasty, or Rama in the Raghu dynasty. Similarly, the non-different energy devotional service, bhakti, in keeping with its self-manifesting nature, is not dependent on any material cause. So that's the first point which has to be very firmly established in our heart. Bhakti is there, but bhakti is the own energy of the Lord, and it descends or manifests within our heart, and our endeavors instrumental for this, but not really not the real cause of it. They just prepare our heart to receive this bhakti. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur very beautifully explains this. Very important. So it basically means that in the beginning we are not really practicing bhakti. It's a bad news. Of course, we call our bhaktas bhakta program, and bhakta is somebody just low grade devotee. First of all, they're not bhaktas. Second of all, they're not low grade because we are low grade. So, but the point here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, it's important. It's important for the proper development of our spiritual ego, not to be inflated in the very beginning, he explains that this program always edits something. Instead of bhava, it's brava. No, instead of bhakti, kakti. This is actually the illustration of being over-intelligent. Sometimes a disciple is over-intelligent. He's trying to correct. So this is the same stuff. Anyway, only from the stage of brava or becomes spontaneous. So the idea here is that till the stage of bhava, we have to apply conscious endeavors. And therefore, whatever experience we have, it's not exactly experience of bhakti, but it's a shadow of bhakti. Bhakti abhas, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. So, bhakti is the spontaneous energy of the Lord which acts within our heart and manifests in a certain way, and we become the servant of this energy, really manifest this energy through our actions, through our words, and through our thoughts. But before that, we have this difficult period when bhava is not yet there, and sadhana basically means that we are trying to act as if bhava is there. That's what bhakti sadhana is. We are chanting the holy name, we are listening about Krishna, trying to understand what it is, and trying to get some pleasurable experience of this, and not without success, but basically it's not real bhakti, because bhakti is that when this energy fully manifests within the heart. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in that condition when the bhakti is just bhakti abhas, bhakti is hard to attain. It's a bad news again. I'm sorry for being the bearer of bad news today. Because Srila Prabhupada always says, bhakti is so easy, bhakti is so easy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in that condition, when we are not really practicing bhakti, but bhakti abhas, by imitating sadhana, bhakti is hard to attain. But when pure bhakti arises during sadhana, the action of bhakti takes on beauty. It becomes very beautiful, it becomes very spontaneous, it becomes very easy and enjoyable. So there is this period where we have to consciously apply our endeavors to realize this ideal of beautiful spontaneous bhakti. So it will become easier when you achieve asakti. It's already not bad. So just tolerate till asakti. It's it's close by, no problem. So the conclusion of this, and basically that's the essence of the first chapter, which I will not go into details. That's the conclusion of the first chapter of Madhurya Kadambini, where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur summarizes the nature of bhakti. What is bhakti? Bhakti is called Mahashakti because it has all the characteristics of the Lord Himself. That's what he showed in the first shower, that bhakti is as independent as the Lord Himself, as beautiful as the Lord Himself, and as self-willing as the Lord Himself. No difference. It's Mahashakti, it's His great energy because it's 10% similar with the Lord. Basically, what is this characteristics? What is bhakti? Bhakti is that specific energy or specific power of the Lord by which He reveals Himself in His full splendor to others. So, what is bhakti? Bhakti is the potency of the Lord which reveals Himself, which is revealing Him completely. And therefore it is said, Premanjana churite bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayesha vilokayanti yam shyamasundara machintya guna swarupam. You can only see Shyamasundara, the beautiful Lord, which is of the color of monsoon cloud, with all his achintya guna, with all his inconceivable potencies and qualities by bhakti. It gives you the vision to see, because that's the function of bhakti. The function of bhakti is to reveal the Lord in His full splendor, in His beauty. And here he mentions 6 qualities of bhakti, of this Mahashakti. First is Sarva Vyapakatvam, all-pervading, or basically all-pervading means universally accessible. Bhakti is universal. It's accessible to anyone. There is no discrimination, no gender discrimination, not even human being, the species discrimination, even dogs, like Srila Prabhupada says, even dog can achieve bhakti. Even dogs can do something. There are some videos on the internet how the dog is trying to chant Hare Krishna, and how cats are practicing bhakti. So no problem. Just to show us example, they are showing that how bhakti is all-pervading. Sarva Vyapakatvam. It's achievable, it's accessible to everyone. And the next one, Sarva Vashikaritvam. Basically means, Sarva Vashikaritvam means that everyone obeys to bhakti. Everyone, when we encounter bhakti, when we come in touch with bhakti, we really very happily obey to its order, and therefore the translation of it, it's all attractive. It basically, everyone is just attracted to it and ready to accept its prominence or its dominance over us, or something like this. Sarva Vashikaritvam. Even Krishna becomes completely obedient to bhakti. When bhakti comes, Krishna bows down his head and says, I am your obedient servant. Dehi padapallava udaram. He says, please place your lotus feet on my head. Like the other day we were in Mansarovar, the beautiful lake on the other side of Yamuna, and there is a Prachina Mandir there, and in this Prachina Mandir they're worshipping the picture, the chitra, where Srimati Radharani is sitting under the tree in her man, and Krishna is in front of her, bowing down to her and saying, "Put your lotus feet on my head." So that's the power of bhakti. Sarva Vashikaritvam, all attractive. It attracts everyone, and everyone becomes obedient servant of it. Sarva Sanjivakatvam, it basically means that bhakti gives life. It's giving life to any other processes. If you do something with bhakti, it has life. If you do something without bhakti, it has no life. Even kirtan, if you do kirtan without bhakti, there is no life. What to speak about karma, jnana, yoga? Yoga only becomes enlivening if there is bhakti. Some element of bhakti has to be there, some tiny fraction of bhakti. And therefore, we can see that, like for example, Buddhist tradition. Buddhist tradition is what? It's Gyan, right? It's kind of version of Gyan. But what did they do? You know, you go to any Buddhist monastery or temple. We went the other day to Bodh Gaya, and so what they're doing, they're just chanting Hare Krishna, no, not Hare Krishna, sorry, it's something else, whatever. They're still chanting, they're still sitting there, and hardly anyone is doing just Gyan. Nobody is there, just, you know, either they're going to Lord Buddha with folded hands and worship him. So basically, Sarva Sanjiva Katvam, the process become alive when there is bhakti. Sarva Utkarsha, it's supersedes everything. It's super excellent. Sarva Utkarsha. Nothing is, when the real bhakti is coming to our heart, it's the most powerful experience. And then it's Paramasvatantriyam, it's very independent, supremely independent. It can come to anyone, everyone. Sarva Prakashatvam, it's self-manifest. It manifests on her own desires. So that's the essence of the first chapter of this book. And what I will do, I will not go to the second chapter now. We'll do it in the evening. But now we can have a couple of questions to finish this class. So just to say, I explained Mangala Charana for this book, and the preliminary understanding why bhakti is sadhana, but prema is not sadhya. And then I also explained a little bit in gist the essence of the first chapter, which we have to understand this point. Bhakti is causeless, as the Lord Himself, and our sadhana is to attract the causeless mercy. It's not the cause, but it has some sort of relationship like this. So that's it, and I will try to explain the second chapter this evening. Yes, Ramapati. Can I answer in the same manner? Yeah, just.
Maybe stand up and say loudly.
Stand up and ask.
Just speak loudly.
Maharaj, you were explaining about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's quotation from Bhakti Tattva Vivek,
Yes.
that in the beginning the Bhakti is not exactly Bhakti but Bhakti Abhas.
Mhm.
I wanted to have a little more clear understanding on that, because in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami speaks about the adhikaris to practice Bhakti, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama. Now, in the end also Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that chapter he mentions that one who is Uttamadikari, who is at the stage of Asakti, and somebody who is on the Madhyamikari platform is at the stage of Nishta. So these are a little confusing because we also know that one who comes to the level of Sharanagati, from there onwards these stages, Sadhu Sangha and Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta and Ruchi are applicable. But these are adhikaris who are entering into the realm of pure devotion. So how do we correlate with these two?
First of all, Sharanagati is definitely is an entrance ticket to the realm of bhakti, but it's not that Sharanagati is complete and then the other stages are there. The Sharanagati is always there, and it increases its intensity of Sharanagati on every stage. To enter basically every stage, you need to have certain Sharanagati, so to speak. And then, yes, there are different adhikaris, and there is a confusion about this. When Srila Rupa Goswami says about this Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama adhikaris, he specifically says that this is the adhikar for practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So adhikar for practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is according to the level of your knowledge, shastric knowledge, according to the level of your faith, the intensity of your faith, which are interconnected because your faith very much depends on the knowledge of the shastras. So, and also the gradation of adhikar is different, and therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains that up to the stage of that, as far as Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is concerned, then on the stage of Nishta you become Uttamadikari, you become the best equipped to practice bhakti. The adhikar for Raganuga sadhana is this lolium, the desire to the greed to achieve this, and therefore the real adhikar for practicing bhakti you only get. The beginning adhikar is on the stage of ruchi. You can practice kind of Raganuga sadhana before, but it's not really Raganuga sadhana. On the stage of ruchi, you can start practicing it. On the stage of asakti, you become equipped to do it. And on the stage of bhava, you are uttamadikari to do this, and then the prema is there. So it's a different gradation and different adhikar for different paths, for two different paths. And it's sometimes being confused. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
Maharaj, in the present context, I would like to know, like, there are the 64 lengths of practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti which Rupa Goswami has mentioned. Now, if somebody is practicing Shuddha bhakti, that means he has to only perform these 64 constitutional functions of the soul. That is only to perform bhakti. But we are also practicing part of our time sadhana, and sometimes we are doing other work, and still the
No, therefore Srila Rupa Goswami says jnana karma dhyanavritam, and that jnana and karma and yoga and adi anavritam. We are doing something else, but the performance of other things do not cover our bhakti. It means do not overshadow our bhakti. We're practicing bhakti, we're doing something else, but the other things which we are doing in our consciousness, in our heart, do not become something which overshadows bhakti. We know we have to do it, definitely we have to go to job, this and that, but deeply in heart we are trying to practice bhakti even while being in the office or whatever is there. So we cannot live without jnana and karma. Therefore he doesn't say jnana karmadi shunyam. He says anavritam, should not be covered by this. And it's not a hindrance for pure bhakti if we are very fixed that bhakti is the goal, is the essence of my life. Everything else I'm doing because I have to do it. Otherwise I can just refuse, I'm a pure bhakta, so I'm not doing anything now, only chant. Good luck. Maybe you have another 2 weeks to live in this world.
Hi Vishnu. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for enlightening sessions. Maharaj, I have a question, when we mention about Bhakti Devi, so in the spiritual world, so Bhakti Devi is personified by some personality other than Vrinda Devi and Radharani?
Every energy of the Lord has the personification, but it doesn't mean that there is no other manifestations of this energy. It's there in the heart of every parikar of the Lord. Energy of bhakti is the main energy. But it's fully manifest, personified as Radharani. Yes, Pramod Prabhu.
Maharaj, you are telling that Vishnacharya Thakur is trying to explain bhakti as a science, cause and effect. But we also say bhakti is causeless. So, how to understand that? He's explained it as a science, but it is something beyond logic.
Yeah. So, yeah. How you want to understand something which is beyond logic? It is beyond logic. So, basically what he explains that that even though something is causeless, still there could be a science, but it's a special science. Bhakti is a science. And science usually is the investigation of the cause and effects. So, and from the very beginning we say Haitukiya Pratihata Yatma Suprasidati. Bhakti is a Haituki, there is no hetu for this. So it's causeless, but still it can be described in terms of apparent causes and effects. But only if we understand that the ultimate descent of bhakti is totally causeless, we can understand the mechanism of its appearance fully. To understand that it's causeless is also certain understanding, but how we are, he's explaining to us what we're supposed to do to facilitate the appearance of bhakti.
Okay, so the helpless cry of he's helplessly crying, so attracting the mercy.
Yeah.
This is the way you can attract the
Yeah.
mercy.
Yeah.
Now you are mentioning in the first Mangalacharan that the 3 levels we are reading. So Lord Chaitanya is not only showering regarding the rain, but also seeds. Now, if it is coming so easily, but when it comes to practice, it is so much struggle for us. So what is the mercy I am receiving when it is so much struggle for us in our practice?
Srila Prabhupada had this famous phrase, what is the difficulty? Come on, what is the difficulty? No, it's all in the mind. It's all pleasant, you chant in the morning. It's only difficult because there are some force which is pulling us back. Yes, and sometimes we feel this, a powerful pulling, but at the same time, from the very beginning, we get so much experience, so much interesting thing. Achinti Krishna here, he told me a story, a very interesting story that, shall I tell the story about so he said in the beginning, he was just started practicing bhakti, and there was a group, some kind of Namahata group, and they wanted to do some retreat, some weekend retreat. And they rented some house, and when they entered this house, which they rented in the forest, in a secluded place, naturally all this kind of places, they are places of sinful activities. People come there to do all kinds of nonsensical activities. So they were, they realized that the whole retreat will be completely spoiled because it's such a heavy atmosphere there. So they started chanting, they started burning incenses, doing some kirtan, and ultimately they said that everything loosened and everything was fine. And it was a very successful retreat, everything purified. And then the next week, when this house was again rented for something, the person who rented this house to the representative of this group, she called her. And she said, did you notice something strange in this house when you using it for your retreat? She said, no, everything was fine. She says, very strange, because I rented it to some other people who wanted to do normal things there. And they said, we cannot do it here. It's very strange. We cannot drink, we cannot do all kinds of things there. So, what's the difficulty?
This is the whole chapter of Anartha Nivritti.
Yeah, so, wait. Yes, I'm going to read it.
In the second verse of the Mangalacharana, it's explained how Rupa Goswami was the first who explained bhakti as rasa. But then, could you please show where is rasa in the definition of Uttama Bhakti? It seems like it's not obvious that bhakti is rasa.
Where is rasa? Well, first of all...
No, in the Paribhasha Sutra, I mean, that's the specific verse where I want to see.
No, I understand. But while explaining the topic of this book, he says, Akhila Rasamrita Murti. This is the first line of the book and the first verse of the book. In Uttama Bhakti, it's indicated, rasa is indicated there by the words Anukulyena Krishna Anusilanam, because it will be shown in the definition of bhava later, and then when the desire to do something favorable for Krishna becomes very strong, like on the stage of bhava, then automatically we feel pleasure. So here he says Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. In the beginning, you're doing it intellectually. You're pushing yourself to do something for the pleasure of the Lord. At the moment when this becomes your desire within your heart, I want to please the Lord, then this very desire becomes the cause of your enjoyment, and that's rasa. So basically that's where it is indicated there. I guess we finish now, for now. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. And in the evening we'll continue along the same lines.